magic 8 ball. Am I going to nail this take? Time is fleeting and you're wasting it. Tattooing is an art form that dates back millennia, with the oldest known tattoos belonging to Otzi the Iceman, a fellow whose body was found frozen in the Alps over 5,000 years after he died. His body was so well preserved in the ice, his 61 tattoos remained intact. Talk about permanent. Many scholars believe they were therapeutic, possibly an early form of acupuncture, while others didn't rule out the possibility that the tattoos may have been decorative or even ceremonial. However, all scholars agree the Iceman is cooler for getting some ink. Whether it's the ancient Egyptians adorning tattoos as a sign of deep religious devotion, or the Britons of old getting some ink to display their social status, countless cultures and civilizations have celebrated the artistry of tattoos over the centuries. At the same time, there have been a slew of societies that wouldn't have cared much for your Deathly Hallows tattoo. The ancient Greeks saw tattoos as a permanent badge of shame that marked people as others, separate from normal society, whether that be slave, prisoner, or foreigner. Today, many but not all followers of the Abrahamic religions view tattoos as a blight on God's perfect creations, including my mother, who, and I quote, can't understand why you're poisoning your skin. You can tell we're related because we have the same eyes. Looking at modern America, tattoos seem to be going through a sort of social acceptance reformation. Recently, I had the good fortune of hanging out with renowned artist Tori at Dorado Tattoos during an especially successful Friday the 13th flash sheet event. A little context for the non-ink doctrinated. A flash sheet is a sheet of pre-drawn designs that can be quickly repeated, usually with little to no altering. But that can all depend on the artist and the context. A flash sheet event is when an artist or artists take those designs and offer them for a certain period of time, often at a discounted rate. And Friday the 13th has sort of become an unofficial holiday for tattooing and flash events.
I feel like it's a big party. Every time we do it, it feels like we see a lot of the same faces. With our Friday the 13th event, we offer the tattoos at $130. We offer them a little larger than if you were to get them at a lower rate. So it's kind of a way that we give back to our routine clients, and also it's a way for somebody who's maybe never been tattooed or maybe never just been to our shop to get something that is a little more substantial than most.
Friday the 13th can be used as a very zoomed-in example of how tattooing has seeped its way into the U.S.'s mainstream. Tattoos just a few decades ago may have been something for the subverts of culture.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Reserved for service members, those with checkered pasts, and punks. If you didn't belong to one of those categories, maybe you got one because you were just so bad. Nowadays, more people are accepting of tattoos and getting them. People understand, sure, some unsavory types might have tattoos, but that doesn't mean they're indicative of anyone's temperament or ability to perform a task. Now, according to Pew Research, almost a third of Americans have a tattoo, and nearly 1 out of every 4 Americans has at least 2. Things have gotten to the point where Oscar Mayer, yes, the hot dog company, is posting their own flash sheet on Instagram and telling people to tag them if they get one of their tattoos. The company that brought you the Wienermobile is now comfortable encouraging you to make a permanent modification to your body. And to be clear, this wasn't for a lifetime of hot dogs or anything. It was just cuz.
Can't get my head around Oscar Mayer making a flash sheet, but like, go off, have a hot dog tattoo, I guess.
I found out about Tori the cool way. Word of mouth from a guy who knew Tori when they started tattooing, and they've been my go-to artist ever since that game of telephone. Primarily working in black and gray, their work explores aspects of the whimsical and the macabre.
I try to bring lightheartedness to topics that maybe would seem a little more grim, and I feel like even with cartoons and anime, a lot of the interest that I have has to do with like the balance of life and death and like what it means to be alive versus like what happens after that point. I think a small example for that would be like I include a lot of teeth in my drawings. So it's that like separation from being a part of a living being versus, well, you know, you're functioning with your teeth, they're there for you. And I feel like that was a way of me coping with a fear that I had young. I hated people pulling their teeth out. I thought it was so gross. And now I can't stop staring at it. Like, I have a collection of different animal teeth and human teeth. I don't feel like I have a strong grasp at this point what I feel like comes after the after times. So it's just this, I don't know, open-ended possibility of where we could go next.
For that Flash event I attended, Tori developed a sheet of pigeons, and it was extremely popular.
I know that for myself, I did those 18 tattoos, and I think 4 of them were other people's designs. I did a lot of pigeons. I wasn't expecting the influx of people interested in those designs, but I also wasn't expecting the kind of feedback I was getting. There were people that were like, I've always wanted a pigeon tattoo. So it's cool to present something that maybe they didn't think of in a way. And I had also presented it as, it would be really cool if you got this one that's like angled downward to look like it's eating a freckle or something. And that also was a hit. So I had people like, oh, I didn't know what to do. Or like, I felt weird about this bump that I've had. And now it's a fun anecdote to just who I am as a person. So I don't know, it was cool. I like pigeons. It was a surprise. I don't know, I really wasn't looking to see that.
So, why the newfound acceptance of tattoos, and why are seemingly more people getting them? While there's no certain way to answer that question, Tori believes it may have something to do with the fact that people are learning more about the art form as it becomes more accessible. And some may see the potential for tattoos to empower, and in many cases, heal.
I don't know. I've definitely seen people that I wouldn't have thought previously would have been into tattoos, and I feel like in the 2020 era where everything was in the state of the world, and then there was this influx of new apprenticeships and people that may have learned on their own, and people that have been waiting for that time that we weren't necessarily all out in the world and taking advantage of these options as being customizable humans at this point. Just recently, my coworker at Dorado, Ryan, he and I tattooed somebody who, when I told them I was getting into a tattoo apprenticeship, they were like, oh, I could never imagine doing that. And now we've done 3 tattoos for her. So it's, again, I feel like it's one of those unpredictable things. I don't know, with the access that there is with private studios and walk-in shops like Dorado, like there's a lot more option in style and accessibility for people. So I feel like that may have a factor in why we're seeing more people than ever before getting tattoos, especially in this country. Some people are a little more forthcoming with what their personal struggles are, if this tattoo is to help cover any certain scars they might have, or come to peace with where their body is at. And I hear it a lot, like oh, I'm gonna get this tattoo once my body has changed in this way or another. But starting acceptance can happen at any time. It doesn't have to wait until you've lost or gained 30 pounds, or once you've had a scar change in a way that you think it will. As long as it's fully healed, we can make something happen for it. So when somebody says, I'm not sure if I'm ready to get something on my abdomen because of how I feel, I'm like, it's gonna emphasize that you're a badass. I don't know. Like, you're gonna look cool, you're gonna feel cool. And ultimately, your body's gonna change forever. So you can't wait for one snapshot day, like, finally, I'm seeing a 6-pack, I can get this tattoo. You're gonna hunch over. You're gonna have days where you're bloated. Just be alive and have what makes you happy. It is a huge confidence boost when you get this type of thing done, when it's done right. And hopefully that confidence translates to how you are as a person. being able to speak up as an artist or as a client or somebody who's not even sure is so important. Whether that pertains to the design or the communication that you're receiving or behaviors that are being presented either from a client or from a tattoo artist. I think everybody needs to have voice right now and standing up for what is or isn't right, whether that's for your situation or for what's happening systemically in our country. People need to be safe in any sort of capacity, and it's not really a time to just keep it in and be silent, is how I feel. It's tough. Like, I feel like it's tough for people to speak out, but it's something that needs to be in practice more often. I feel like in this becoming more comfortable with your body or representing a part of you that maybe wasn't as forthcoming as before is a way to have power. It's something that I've gotten better at. I have in the past been a person that's a little more meek in voice, whether that's when I was getting tattooed or at the beginning of my apprenticeship. Like, being able to stand up for yourself is something that's really important. And I don't know, I just hope I can help boost people into having that confidence as well, because self-preservation is good, and making sure that the people around you are safe is good. Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who watched the video, and a special thank you to all 18 of my subscribers. That's about 17 more than I thought I would have at this point, and I'm grateful for every one of you. If you like the video, please interact with it. Like, share it with a couple of friends, and subscribe if you aren't already.
I have a question for you before you leave. Did you see?
Oh, and just a shot in the dark. Airsoft Fatty, if you see this video, hit me up. Until then, I'll see you when I'm looking at you.
The World Wrestling Federation. Here is a man that has not only turned it around 180 degrees, he's gone another 360 and then